Hello, our lovely Girl Awakening listeners. Welcome to 2023. I'm Jo Hendy from the Sacred Sister Project.
I'm Amanda Parker of Mayala Organics.
Come with us as we journey into this week's Awakening episode.
I talk to a spirit. She comes in my dreams. She teaches me lessons.
Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning.
It's been a while since we've had our lovely Zhara in.
Yes.
So this is a powerful, we're realising now, and we've just been talking about that every moment's a powerful moment.
Oh, yes. And being in the moment is key to everything that is at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can take these how do we say it, lifted, or these energies that are around and utilise them to help us and support us in moving forward. So hence the 1010 portal today that's opening up, and God help us for the rest of the month.
Eclipses,
the eclipse,
all the do's.
A beautiful month to be, just to sit in and allow whatever to unravel.
And we'll talk about it, but just what came to mind then was to resist the temptation to overdo.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of energy around at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's kind of exciting to have Zhara here today, who's very in tune with the energies of dimensions and space.
And how we can work with them.
Yeah, to share with us what she's picking up on at the moment, as well as us. Welcome, Zhara.
Welcome, lovely ladies.
Thank you so much, ladies. It's always great to be here. It's really a pleasure.
Yeah. Nice to have you back in the space.
Thank you. It's nice to share your space. I love
What
it.
have you been doing?
Recreating from dreams, actually, and that's the card that I pulled.
Oh, amazing.
I think, which is a nice leeway and segue into what we're going to talk about today.
Beautiful.
But it's finding your dreams and aligning with those dreams that are here to manifest in this lifetime. And so that's what I've been doing, because I've been wrapped up in everything else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's just coming back to that center and that truth and that alignment of how you make your own life's purpose, mission, while you're here, unfold into reality.
Wow.
And so it starts with your dreams, and so that's where I've been. I've been in this little portal and gateway of assisting my life in going really in that direction that I couldn't even see before, because I had different anchor points attached. You know, through the beliefs, through all the human grid lines that we run, and so it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun, and just really, nose down and working on the book and working on creating and how I want to really utilize time and space to have fun.
Yeah.
And to have joy while doing the work. And how do you make the work really fun? Really, really fun, whatever it is that we each do.
Yeah.
Oh, everything. I mean, we had last week Kathy, who her episode was called "If you don't have a dream, you're living a nightmare." Which sounds extreme, but it is that thing around having a dream, isn't it? And
having purpose.
Having purpose through imagination, through that connection with your higher self.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually grounding it here into reality. And so I've always had the dream, like I know where I'm going, but the actual action step is in the planning, and the strategy is where I've been really pulling it into my being and developing those aspects of being as a human individual, which has been fun, because it's just been, it's been probably a part of myself that needed to develop and fine tune. So anyway, enough of that, but that's where I've been, is really orchestrating life.
Well, we've been talking about our dreams too, because you've been having some really vivid dreams.
Yeah, like almost lucid dreams where I'm having an experience, and not a nice experience.
Yes.
But in the dream saying, no, you're just dreaming. It's okay, you're dreaming. But I feel like I'm having, I'm getting learning experiences, or that sounds strange, but I'm having realizations within the dream. And it's almost like being awake
Yes.
Like going, no, this is a lesson. How can you got to pull yourself out of this. How can you pull yourself out of this? Okay, this is a negative energy that's attached to me right now. It's not who I am. It's not where I want to be. You need to get yourself out of here. And how are you going to do that?
Yeah, and that's the letting go portion, I think, that needs to come through. But you've got this incredible energy, Joe. And so if you're open and allowing, you're going to attract different forces that come in to teach you, to help you grow, but also that can be cut away at any moment.
And that's the learning part.
Yeah, exactly.
It's having the awareness around what is real and what's not.
Yeah.
And what are old ways of playing that I don't want to play anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, with me in the asking is like, I want to play a new game. I want to handle whatever I need to handle and all of that. But how do I do that? Okay, with awareness. Starts with awareness,
And I think a lot of us are also learning discernment.
Yes.
In these times, discernment and then boundaries. But if we can't discern what's actually true and what's going on and what's real, then we're getting lost. And so you can see that on the collective level, just, with government, with everything that's playing out in the media and the mainstream, that we actually have to start learning the discernment. But after you've recognized that, and as you move into another dimensional space, right, which is you're learning the astral traveling, you still need to learn discernment there. So it's not that you've learned your lesson on, okay, that's real. It's not. It's going to unfold in every plane that you start to access.
Oh, I love that. That's that's that quantum field that we're kind of moving into, where we're alive in all of those spaces.
Yes.
Wow. I didn't even think of that.
And so
that's epic.
Just like you get to decide who you want to be and how you want to play the game in this reality field on Earth, you actually get to decide that.
Yes.
In the next realms as well. And that's a big deal, because you don't have as many senses, so to speak, as you do here. Nothing's as tangible. So
wow,
it's good fun what you're going through, but you can say no at any time and close the door to something that's not serving you.
Far
and
out.
it's interesting to explore, like as you say, that learning the astral travel, how some of the, I'll say, dramatic experiences come in first, perhaps to help you to give you that lesson of like, okay, well, if you're ready to be in this space, are you ready to express discernment or have healthy boundaries or say no about not wanting an experience? Where do you want to take this part of yourself?
That's
really amazing.
And do you know the ball game? And that's the thing, is you actually need to learn the rules, and you need to learn how to play and when to say no and how to actually let go of the game. If it's one that you're actually not interested in. But you're learning, you're exploring. It's just like this world. You went on a trip, you traveled. You saw. You've interacted with different people over your life. You've decided who you want to actually be in relationship with. And so now you're doing the same thing, but in a different
it's a funny one, because
reality
I think I remember, it might have even been in this another podcast with you. We ask for I want to learn my gifts, or I want to know what my gifts are, or I want to I want to have an experience that's out of this world, kind of thing, but don't come at 3 a.m. in the morning, It
was. I remember when you said that.
Please don't come then, because I'll be too scared. But it's like, well, okay, do you want it or do you want it? Kind of thing.
Yes, and define your boundaries. Okay, I want this to help me expand and grow. But do you want that with real joy and love and lightness, or do you want that with a heavy thud? You just really get clear on how you want to feel. And that feeling will match the feeling that you feel here, will also match in that other realm. So not necessarily, actually, let me take that back. Not necessarily all the time, because sometimes there is that growth on the next plane. Where you also need to develop that individuality.
This is what we've been talking about too. Being very precise or refined in the asking, because we've got a podcast coming up. It hasn't been released yet. That was just amazing. It was with a lady that had a near-death experience. And very, very aware woman, conscious woman, who asked for not...
Don't say the word.
She asked the universe for something.
And
she got it in a very, very, very elaborate way. That's all I'll say, because
Okay.
it's so amazing. But
I'll have to listen to
and she accepted it with grace. And
yes.
it's just we have to start getting very refined in our asking.
And back in relationship with words. Because we've kind of got disconnected from the meaning of words a little bit, haven't we? Which in relationship to our thoughts, because our thoughts are words as well when we vocalize our thoughts.
all of its power.
Yeah.
It is your power and your ability to create change and to harness that focus and that intent is massive. It's a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
That in itself.
Yeah.
To learn how to do that as a human being. And I agree with you on refining the asking.
Yeah.
And really getting clear. And you can go with just the feeling of how you want to feel. That's a good one. But also get clear on what you're asking from a frequency and a vibration level, and what's still unresolved in trauma and belief systems, because they will show up.
Because they have to travel through those things first, don't they, before they can give you what you're asking. If there's any unresolved,
And I guess the unresolved or the trauma, the frequency, that's also bringing in the emotional attachment or emotional space that is being expressed through the asking, isn't it?
Because all of it's there, right? So, kasuto konayanasya, each level and layer of your being is refined in the word. Does that make sense?
kind of.
Okay. So if you feel vulnerable, if you feel distracted, if you feel lazy, and you're asking for $1,000 to show up in your work today,
Yes.
but you're feeling those energies, that contributes to your ask.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so every little layer is going to contribute to the big picture
Yeah.
that arrives in your manifestation. And so that's why the shadow work and the trauma healed, all of that is I think it's something that not everyone's talking a lot about, or it's not being talked, to my understanding. That combination of manifestation with your visualization with your unseen aspects of self. It
Yeah.
all goes together. And that's
Unseen
why
aspects of self. Whoa.
and those are the best ones,
Yeah.
because that's where the real gold lies.
Yeah.
That's where the real gold lies, is seeing what you actually want to express and what you want to act out that you haven't acknowledged.
Yeah.
But it all goes together.
So the best time for asking is like
After meditation.
took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
After an ice bath,
Yeah.
breath work and meditation.
yeah.
Like in a clear space.
When you're in a clear space.
When you're in a clear space is the best space. And it's also important not to disown what's coming up, right? So some of us just try to cut off from that feeling of abandonment, or that feeling of rejection, or that feeling of loss, and we actually try to make it go away.
Yeah. Yes. We don't want to feel this. Yeah.
And so we push it aside, and guess what? It is going to creep back in and continue to play out until you really take the time to sit with it and love it,
Yeah.
and love that abandonment or that rejection, because that amazing man that shows up, right, because that's what you've asked for,
Yes. Yes.
is not going to necessarily be all he's cracked up to be, because you're going to still have all of those undercurrents running.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, we often
Yeah,
asking
wow.
when we're in pain, aren't we? You know, and I say pain like when we're, you know, broke, lost, you know,
Hurt. Yeah.
you know, all those sort of
Yeah.
things. That's often when we're asking for help, which is a natural, I guess, human state of being. And,
Yes.
you know, hopefully we have friends and family that are around us to physically be present and help, support, love, you know, God, you know, be there for us. But on a frequency cosmic level, it's a totally different relationship, isn't it, around what you were just saying about
Oh, that's so beautiful.
being in a clear space and how we are sitting in these aspects of ourselves.
And that's the inner work. That's what I think anyone listening to this podcast would be doing, is really looking at the inner self and how to travel through time in a way that's more expansive and more joyful.
Yeah, that's
And
the
more
realness
abundant.
of what we're talking about,
Yeah.
right there, isn't it? It's like there's layers to travel through before we can really sit in that full manifesting of joy, love. You know, we have to clean out our stuff. We need to. And part of that is asking, receiving, and realizing that, okay, this is for me. You know, that person, this, why that happened, why this is happening, why I have no money, or why this, because I have more to learn.
I have
more to clear.
co-created this.
Yeah.
Which is what it's in the creative space a lot with your work, don't you? I mean, there's a lot of, you know, creation is a hologram, isn't it? It's a whole, it's more than a surface. There's so much there as well.
Yeah, it's everything, and we have to look at the every ingredient in the recipe that goes into making the cake, so to speak. I'm just giving it an analogy because there's more ingredients than just sitting there and asking for something, because you'll get that, right? But it's gonna come along with every other attachment that's still in play. Yeah. And that's okay, because it just shows you, But I think the biggest, from my experience and my guidance, the biggest thing that we can do is not disown anything and love it up to infinity and beyond. And that will be the dissolution point where you no longer have to walk with it and travel with that.
Yeah, wow. I've been actually, I have more awareness around those feelings that I don't want to feel. Like there could be something little too, just like, oh, I don't really want to look at that right now, or don't want to. And my awareness is like, no, Joe. You know, even though that may look small, still walk into it. You know, feel into it. What do they say? Lean into it. Like, you know, experience it. Don't you have awareness for a reason? You know, let's not ignore it.
Yes. And you're onto it, and so many of your listeners are onto it as well. And I think is the more of us that are onto it and travel through this space of recognition of all the self-doubt, the unworthiness, you know, the list goes on and on. The more that we actually allow it to be and give it this great big hug, the more that we'll be in a space to let go of our past and let go of what's not serving, and what we actually want to create will start to show up.
That's just powerful truth right there.
But we've got to walk through it in our own timing as well, you know. And it's something that manifests differently for each of us. And some of us are clearer vehicles coming in this lifetime than others, and others of us are doing collective work. So never judge yourself. Put yourself in comparison to where other people are going and where they've been. We're all on an individuated experience of self, and the only thing that we have in common is that we have the same source. We are the same fractal of the same pure essence, and so we all have the ability within us to manifest and make great anything that we want in our life. And if you know that, if you really know that, then everything that you need will start to show up. And start to show up and start to show up.
There's another aspect too, just that I've been chatting with Amanda on our little walks, is that part of us that can see everything that's happening in everybody else, or the people around us, and we just want to tell them, just let them know. But
because it's helpful.
But there's really, you know, the only thing that we can do is seeing whatever it is that's triggering us, or having us want to say something to them, and then turn it back, you know, onto us and go, okay, why do I feel this way? Why am I so wound up about that person doing this? Or how can I see it and they can't, you know? So it's like, is that the same thing? It's like, okay, turn it around, have a look at the mirror. Why are they playing this out for me? Or why, you know, and zipping it, not saying a thing, just allowing them to find their own way through, just like we're allowing our own selves to find our way through.
Having their own experience and their own field.
And especially when it's people you love, and you know that, well, you think, I shouldn't say a no, you know, you think that, oh no, please don't do that. That's going to cause a bit of chaos.
I guess in the most basic terms of that is when you become a parent and you try to teach your kids so they don't make the same mistakes we did. Is it, you know, it's kind of, it's like what I'm trying to say is it's like a default field for us.
Absolutely.
Often to want to help others to be better.
Yeah.
But
In our world.
yes,
Through our eyes, and it's like it may be completely different through their eyes.
Yes.
The way they're viewing their own life. It's like, okay, we need to really just back off, just send them love, exactly what you've been saying, Zara. Just, send love like we would hopefully do it to ourselves,
and own it more as our own experience.
Yes.
We're observing it, we're seeing it because it's our own experience.
Yeah.
Is that...
That feels so spot on. And sometimes there are openings to share. And sometimes there are messages that you can give at different times that may actually hit a resonant chord.
Yeah.
And some people want to hear everything. Like, I want to hear everything. If you see something, please tell me.
Yeah.
But like you said, if it's someone who's a bit more closed,
Yeah. Yeah.
look at what that is for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can feel that too. And I can also feel too sometimes when there is an opening, it's how it's communicated to. And, for me, I'm learning to share my own experience around whatever it is that I'm feeling.
Yes.
Instead of like taking ownership over it, basically. That's what I'm saying. Instead of putting it to somebody else. This is what I can see is happening for you. Okay, this was my experience and this is what happened with me and I'm still going through that or whatever, but saying it in a loving space instead of a controlling or knowing it all space.
Opening up
Yeah.
the space.
Yeah.
By opening up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Compassionate communication.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that is what we're learning these days as well as individuals. And we're doing a great job.
Yeah.
High five, ladies.
We're getting better. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm leaving you hanging there, Amanda. Sorry, lovely.
Just with my hands in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. Compassionate
Interesting times.
communication.
So what else can you feel like? Do you feel anything else happening around this 10-10 portal, or just even the month of October, or just in general? It doesn't have to be any special time.
Yeah, there's a huge amount. So let's just go into that space then, and I'll get out of the way. And I'll just share from the space of source. And that infinite knowledge and knowing that you are you, the one, the only, the creator of your life and the lives of all the others around, because you are not separate. And so it's time to let go. This is a time when you can call it all to an end, that which isn't serving you. Because there are frequencies and energies available at any time, but especially at this time, that will propel you onto your destiny track. And these energies want to surface within you. They want to help you be all that you can be. Because who you are is God. You are a particle of the one. And to ensure you reach this stage of enlightenment, which is already here, you must let go of the ways of the past. And so many are doing this in such a profound way. The thought forms, the beliefs, the ideologies, they're starting to be shed from the self. And the self is able to grow and to realize the creator being that he or she is. But what happens when you don't let go? So that's what we're going to talk about today. If we don't let go, we maintain anchors to the past. We maintain control or difficulties or rigid points of view. And these points of view or the control patterns aren't necessarily going to help you into a new existence. They could potentially be stumbling blocks that keep you locked into the ways of the past. So what do you do when you see one of these instances where you want to change? You want to be greater than who you could possibly imagine. You want to be the one, the creator, the source. Kunayanasya. Because that is who you are. And that's why you strive on the spiritual path. Because you know something's amiss. Something's ready to give. But what happens when you're not willing to let go of the pain? You remain stuck, like a lump, on a log. That's going to sit there and ruminate and miss the opportunity to birth new opportunities, to birth new life into your particular individuated creation. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. Remember, these are just choices. These are just points in time where anything can change. So if this is where you have been, or where you find yourself down the track, there's no right or wrong. It just is. And taking the judgment out of it will change everything. So if you find yourself in a space in time where you want to create something different, where you want to have more love or joy in your life, or any number of things that humans like, or you want to become enlightened, recognize that all you need to do is to be present in the space of wonderment of your current circumstance. Transcend the mind and the difficulty and the feeling of the situation, knowing that it too is a gift for your expansion. This is the easiest way to let go of the thought that I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, or lack of self-belief. It's to know that you can create change with your very breath. And when you decide you want change, and you're going to be present with what is out of alignment with your highest self's path, then you'll have an opportunity to take action. And what will you do when that opportunity arises? That is going to be the critical point in time. And don't worry, because that critical point will come around again, where you can change everything. If you say no to what is not working or what is not ideal, even if that is cutting out a particular family member or relationship in your life, if you say no, you say yes to the greater game. You take yourself off that log and you explore the forest and the trees. And you start to see what beauty is there for you. You start to see what gifts can arise. But while you stay stuck in something that is not actually supposed to be a gift for too much longer, then you continue to stare at the wall and miss the entire view of what is possible for you. And so this can bring up moments of severe discontent, severe disharmony, in relationship with another, or with the situational aspect of your life. And it may get really rocky and really intense and quite uncomfortable. But recognize that these pain points, these places of pressure, is what is going to catalyze that lump of coal into a diamond. It is pressure that makes you grow. If you stay stagnant in a situation that is not for your highest good, please keep in mind that it is not for the highest good of anyone else involved. The people-pleasing must cease, because you are actually not serving them on the deepest level of their soul desire. And how do you let go in a world that wants you to stay together, that wants you to make it right, that wants you to make it work out? You have to trust that your higher self, that God, that source, has got you 100% of this journey. You are not alone. You're traveling well accompanied. And you and everyone else on this planet we call Earth is journeying together for higher awareness, for continued expansion. And stagnation is not the way of divinity. It is the way of the lump, or the rock, or the piece of coal that refuses to be the diamond. Sutakunayana sumasyataya. So when you rise into the knowledge that you are the diamond, and that the coal also has its purpose, you will then see that you are much clearer when you are a diamond. And while you may enjoy the state of coal, and there is nothing wrong with enjoying coal, you have another option available. So the question then remains, do you take the openings in time in which you can create a different reality for you and all those who shine around you? It is your choice always. But know that they are there.
Beautiful.
And that's the energy that we're traveling through right now. We've got this springboard to really power from. So keep in mind, you can tap into that at any time. I don't want anyone to think that you've missed the window, you've missed the opportunity, you've missed the boat, because that's not the case. But sometimes, if there's a passenger jet going down the takeoff ramp, that's an easier time to get in, right? And to get on track. And that's just the wave we're riding at the moment, is this incredible expansion, because there are energies in the Earth's grids that are firing up, and we're connecting with those energies as we stand on the Earth. Even if we just sat in a chair, we'd still be getting exposed to them. And they're ready to take us. They're ready to assist us in our evolution. So,
we just have a beautiful opportunity right now, gathering all those energies to help us, propel us into where we really want to go.
Absolutely. And you can take the stage, or you can sit down and nothing.
And be on the log.
And it's actually nice. I was thinking, oh, that's
Yeah.
actually a frog on a log. You know, you get to
Oh,
be
yeah.
present. And there's nothing wrong with
No.
just sitting and being present, because there will be other doorways and opportunities to walk through. But sometimes if your journey is so uncomfortable
Yeah.
that you can no longer take it.
And if you're asking
Yeah.
for change, which I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are asking for
Yeah.
some kind of change, a shift, an opening.
Yes. And what are they willing to do
Yeah.
in order to make that occur?
We've been talking a lot about inspired action lately, haven't we?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you just can't sit back and pray and ask. There has to be some kind of action involved to go with the momentum that the universe is offering us at the same time. You know, we're here to what do you call it?
Evolve.
Well, we're here
Transmute.
to
Learn.
sit in the contrast, to take it in, use it, propel us. We're not here to sit back and just watch it all unfold either. You know, it's
Well, one of the things I was thinking of when you mentioned sitting on the log, Zara, was you know, you start to decompose. you know, you go back into nature, the fungi come out, you know, the spores.
mycelium.
Yeah, there's the mycelium.
Yes.
There's a whole process
Yes.
of, you know, that ground level change. But then when you mention, and which, you know, is another aspect of our choices, isn't it? Sitting on the log, you know, we can sit there like the frog, or sit there and decompose and turn into fungi and, you know, evolve in different ways. Our choices take us different paths, or our stagnation has us sitting in different processes. But then when you said about freeing out to move through the forest and the trees, that feeling that just came,
fuzziness.
the lightness, and you just felt, that's it.
That's the calling, isn't it?
Yeah. And for everyone, it may be a bit different, and there's no wrong way. Then that's the key critical message, I think, in all of this evolutionary age is there isn't a right way, there isn't a wrong way. We just get to create.
We're all contributing to something, but what is it we want to be contributing in that, you know, because if you look at past lives and karma and all those loops of cycles of energy, you know, we have the opportunity through our choices to suddenly lift, well, no, I say suddenly because time is what is time, but to move from that loop or from any particular cycle. We're not fated beings as we used to think, you know, we're not cursed. We can create that too if we want to, but, you know, we have a choice to move in our beings, as you said about being a particle of the one, to being more connected into that space and move into that joy and the bliss. Or we can just keep doing the grind
Yes.
through any choice that we make at any time, and that's perfectly fine to do the grind. And I think you've shared that in different ways, thinking back over the different portals, like how the message has been coming through, and there's an incredible shift to how it's coming through now and being communicated, how the words are sharing the message, how the energy is sharing the message, you know, what you're bringing through, and saying by letting go, the gift that is there, and that it's not painful to let go. It's joy to let go.
And how do we reach that point in time, especially when you're looking at another, if it's a relationship scenario, when that other person may not be on the same page, and that there are pain points for people, very real pain points, and all I can say is on the other side, you'll have an incredible adventure.
Yeah. And the bottom line is we have a choice. Always have a choice. And for our listeners, it's literally just one decision at a time, in a moment, that you can change everything, or stay where you are. It's totally up to you.
And recognize that it is actually where you are that's creating that situational outcome. So having the inner awareness to not obviously blame and point the finger outwards. But is this opportunity that you're in right now, is that contributing to your growth? Is that propelling propelling you forward, or is it anchoring you in a past time?
And look, for me personally, I feel that, you know, the choice to come here and have this experience was to fully have the experience of everything, not to come and just put my feet up and watch the world go by. You know, and I'm sure there's a lot of our listeners that are feeling the same way, that, you know, they didn't come here to just watch it all float by. They wanted to dive in and, you know, sometimes punch and scream their way through, but hey, they wanted to have an experience.
Yeah. I think a lot of your listeners are also people who came to create change.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they actually came for the evolution of the species.
Absolutely.
And so, well, we don't, you know, in a lot of this work, we don't ignore anyone, because you can have any of those choice points. But most of your listeners are ready to create their greatest reality, and that for the planet.
Yeah.
And that does involve cutting cords and cutting chains and cutting anchor points, so that you can actually be that full expanse of the universe. And that is where we are coming to. I see that. I believe that. I experience that we have this limitless potential within the cells of the body, and the wisdom of the word. And it's up to each one of us to decide when and how we evolve to that place.
Yeah. And to also understand, this is what just came into for me, is like understand that those limiting beliefs that are really trying to play out in our heads, like the part that we're not good enough, or we can't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or whatever, or it's all
Or they're going to do something to me if I do that.
Yeah, are all just past beliefs. They're the cords that you want to start cutting. They're the first cords you want to start cutting, because it's not the truth. We're all here to do extraordinary things, no matter, you know, who you are. And it's not about being famous or any of those things, having the most followers or the most comments or any of that. It's about you being true to who you are and living that fully, and just deciding that you are good enough.
Because you are, and I think that's the first place for people to, if they feel stuck, to really, that they can really expand, is getting help with the limiting beliefs. And there's some good modalities I've come across that are self-help as well in the past. I just thought of it yesterday because somebody was asking me. The healing codes, I think you can look it up online. And I think there are practitioners around, but it's also a very, very powerful self-help modality, where you just channel energy through your own hands with your own words. And
Wow.
And that's one that I think, it could be shared probably a little bit more, is
We'll look into
especially for people who are really determined.
Yeah.
It's just a nice practice.
Yeah.
It's been years and years since I've used
yeah.
it. But have a tune in
Yeah.
with anything that's recommended. And then there's theta healing, which can be powerful.
Yeah, I was just
for
going to say
people.
Nikki, that's been on the podcast a few times. Yes, Path to Wellness. She's Path to Oneness. That's what she does. The energetic healing, where she goes in and cuts cords and does a bit of light language and a few different. But she's doing some incredible things now, very quietly too. You know, she's just doing her thing. It's very powerful.
Yeah, a few of the girls do the theta healing. I think Oracle Wellness, Kathy Hicks.
Yep. Yes.
And I think Kirsten Morrison.
Yeah. There's some amazing healers out there, and like there are so many, but it's like you said, you have to feel into what feels like the right one for you.
Yeah.
I do really like this idea though of doing it yourself. There's something about the communication, the vibration of our own communication, to tap into the energies that we have, that we've created, to break them. That kind of feels really I don't know.
Well, because when we hand our power to somebody else, there's still an aspect of self-doubt.
Yeah.
And disbelief that we can actually create the change on our own. And so I think at different times in our lives, we may need a helping hand. And other times we're really feeling that energy of I can.
Yeah.
I am and I can. And so wherever we're at, though, it's important to recognize that all the amazing facilitators that are out there are there to guide you to your next step. They're not there to take away anything that belongs to you. And that's an interesting point on discernment that we were talking about earlier, is distinguishing how false light can keep you stuck in the same loop, and where anyone can establish a connection with Creator, with God, with Source, right? Because it is all just light. And so you can look at that with the powers that be. They know how to use Source light. They know very well how to anchor energy into this time and space. And then you can look at different healers that may have been in the news in the past years that have very well established their connection with white light and can heal and make miracles occur. But there's actually an exchange of energy and an exchange of power that occurs. And so with any facilitation, it's just important to remember who you are. And white light is not necessarily, nothing's a bad thing, because it will create miracles, but never give away your own sense of self to someone else. And most people would never want your sense of self, right? It's not something that they would want to take, the people who are truly based in their heart and operating from love. But it's one of those discernment angles when you start to navigate. Okay, you've navigated the physical plane and now you're going into the energetic plane. We can all give and take energy from each other, and we do it in ways where we may not actually know. And so it's important to just keep intact your own bubble of light. And that in itself is a huge discourse. But
it's a whole other podcast, isn't it? But I do know that a lot of ladies that have sat in our red chair, in our hot seat, have said that any healing is an exchange of energies between two people, and it's an equal exchange.
It depends.
To make it as powerful as it can be.
And I think it depends how you enter the relationship, because if you're willing to go in a I cannot believe that I am capable aspect, then it can be a very different ballgame. And so we have to work it with healing as, okay, I'm the light just as you are. Please help me see. Right. And it
just feels different straight away when you say it like that too. We might.
And I think because what you were also referring to before, like, you know, these anchor points and the limiting, like the cutting the cords and things, we've co-created those. They're not done to us. You know, we're very much an essential part of that.
We are the part.
So owning that and working from that point of view, and or not from that point of view, from that place in ourselves.
The self-responsibility part.
Is taking that big step forward into feeling more empowered when you walk into a healing space of, okay, I'm here because I have some things that I've created that I want to let go of. The letting go. Please help me see the light. How beautiful is that?
Well, because
I love it.
Oh, look, because we're just here to show each other the way home. Right? And that's where facilitation is just excellent, because we're helping each other. We're helping each other become unblinded, so to speak. So that we can reclaim our innate sovereign individuality and power. And again, I think that topic is a whole other podcast. And I think it's an important one, especially as we step up into these planes of learning discernment.
Absolutely.
Because every healer, or person of guidance will say that their clients are always helping them to see the light as well. And, experienced that so many times, and it's such a gift to share space with your clients.
Absolutely. And I'll do sessions as well, and I love that space, because it is such a brilliant, incredible gift. But again, it's like the earth plane. We have to navigate the fields of reality that are actually occurring. And
amazing.
That's where the real fun begins, because that's when you start to become the unseen.
Oh yes. Well, for me, this whole 10-10, literally what we've been talking about today is the letting go and the getting clear and being in joy and lightness, connecting with the divinity. That because it's been coming to me so much, that moving into the space of the new earth, or the frequencies that we are truly here to resonate and be a part of. Letting go of all the drossness. We've been working on detoxifying physical body, mental body, emotional body, spiritual body. Letting go of all that, the past. Lightening our whole being on every level. It is a part of this beautiful energy of what I feel this 1010 portal is about. What you've been sharing today, with being clear.
And take control of your destiny.
Yeah.
And manifest your dreams.
Love it.
I love it. That's a really great way to round it off. Manifest your dreams, people.
What are you dreaming?
Yeah. Have a look. Take a closer look at your dreams.
Because some people say they don't dream. Like I know a couple of people I can think of straight away that just say, I don't dream. But that's, it's not when you're sleeping that you dream. Your dreams are always...
They're always present.
They're always telling us something. Yeah.
And you can, sorry. Because again, for our listeners, okay, if you're in the space of maybe you don't dream, or how would you say for people to, is it like a meditation to create your dream, or is it like it's a desire? Or
when I tune into the word dreams, for me it's more of a, this is what I'm here to do, this is what I want manifest in my life, this is what I want my life to be like, right? That's your dream. That is who you are. That's who you're supposed to be. If you just have this desire to sing and you're not there yet, that's your dream. And that's what you're here to pull into sight.
Once you've cleared all your stuff. No, I'm kidding.
That's the path, though. That's the path. That is the path. And we're never going to clear all our stuff, so to speak, but we're going to find compassion and love for every bit of it.
Which lightens us up so we can sing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Zhara, for coming in. It was really lovely having you here and creating a clearer way forward.
A beautiful portal of clarity and openness and lightness. I love that our listeners get to experience this as a conversation, but the channeling that you bring through is like a meditation. A tuning.
And it's all in divine perfect timing for each one of us. That's the last thing to end on for me. It's you're exactly where you should be.
Divine perfect timing.
Thank you.
Thanks for
I
being
talk
last.
to a spirit. She comes in my dreams.
Thank you for listening to our Girl Awakening podcast. We are also on YouTube as Girl Awakening. We'd love to see you there with comments on how our guests resonated with you or your own awakening. Please share the love with a like and subscribe while you're there. A blissful thank you to Ksenia Luki, the amazing artist behind our theme song. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.